everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to review Cobra Kai Season 5. Now, Cobra Kai is obviously the sequel series to the first three, mostly the first three original Karate Kid movies back in the day. This started off as a YouTube Red show, and it was basically it's probably much the most successful show that YouTube Red ever did, right before they stopped they wanted to cut costs and they sold the rights to it to Netflix. Could have went to a lot of places, but the rights went to Netflix. And this show is one of my favorite shows, period. Particularly that first season. Like, I've loved the other few 4 seasons, but that first season was something special to me. I still think that the climax of that first season, nothing quite topped the climax of, maybe it was season 2. Was it season 1 or season 2? I can't remember. Maybe it was season 2. Nothing quite topped the climax of like season 2 of the fucking school fight, because the school fight was just so fucking lit. The school fight was just so fucking cool. Like, I thought that shit was awesome. I was just like, whoa! Because in my brain, I always imagined, like, when you see fights in school, they're usually like, some girl holding hair, 2 dudes like swinging really, really fast with no real technique or whatnot. They're just trying to bludgeon each other and hope that that one guy can bludgeon the other guy more than the other guy, and it's not really a lot to it when you saw fights in school. But the idea of like trained martial artists breaking out into a gang-like fight in our school and what that would look like is a really cool concept that I have thought about myself and imagined myself in my brain, and it was kind of like that, and it was kind of cool, it was kind of fun, like the vibe. Love that fight sequence, one of my favorite fight sequences of all time. I love that school fight sequence. That school fight sequence was amazing. But the show has evolved. It's reintroduced old characters from the other movies, chosen from I forget if it was Karate Kid 2 or 3. I think it was 2. I can't remember which one where he went to Japan. I can't remember if it was 3 where he went to Japan or 2. Either one. Chosen, the villain of that one, returns. Silver, the villain, another villain returns. These different characters and stuff from older movies, obviously, Kreese, Kreese and everything. Like, all these different characters from the Karate Kid pantheon, so to speak, return. And you really realize that, like, they're treating this like a unit, there's so many Easter eggs and whatnot to the original films, and so many characters who show up from the original films. I mean, hell, last season, either last season or season before, the girl who Johnny and fucking Daniel were beefing over in the first film returned, So, like, you get these interesting return of characters who you haven't seen in forever. Characters who, only if you were a huge fan of the Karate Kid franchise would you even remember. And they're back, and they're different, and they're unique. And I've always appreciated the feeling in this show of time changes everything. You know what I mean? Like things that were important to you. It's amazing. And I think about this, and I try to keep this in perspective as a relatively young man. I'm only in my mid-20s. So I try to keep this in perspective that something that's important to you now, 20, 30 years from now, it might just be a blip. You know what I mean? Something that pissed you off, someone you're angry at, something that you thought you couldn't move past. Next thing you know, 20 years pass, 30 years pass, and you're just kind of sitting there like, dude, why was I so upset about that thing in the first place? And I kind of always liked that vibe about the show, particularly between Daniel and Johnny, of them coming closer and being friends, of just like, I let that moment, both of them, and it's funny because you only think of it as the loser. Both of them let these moments define them, and it's like, dude, why did I ever let that define me like that? Like, I should have just moved on. And the show continues down that path. Now, last season ended off with Silver pretty much taking over Cobra Kai from Kreese and beating the shit out of Stingray and framing Kreese for it to get him out of there so he can take over Cobra Kai completely, which I always found ironic because Kreese is the one who, went and got Silver in the first place. Silver was minding his own business. He seemed more okay now. He seemed like he was drinking these smoothies and doing yoga, and he's rich and successful. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got this amazing house and shit. Look, he's living good. He's fine. The vibe you get is he hasn't thought about karate since he's gotten clean and since he's found his wife. And Kreese drug him back Kreese kind of dug inside of Silver and brought back all the feelings that he used to have, and it came right to the forefront. And essentially, when Kreese realized, like, yo, Silver, you're a little much. You're kind of going overboard. Then Silver went, well, no, it's because you're weak. And he took over the whole thing. And in this season, Silver really wants to take Cobra Kai to the next level. He sees it as his legacy, and he wants to globalize Cobra Kai. The way he put it is, I want to make Cobra Kai synonymous with karate. And I want karate to be a big thing. And I want Cobra Kai to be the reason why. Like, I want Cobra Kai to be so synonymous with karate. You know what I mean? He wants it to be this huge global thing. His way, his teachings to go out there. And of course, Daniel and the crew, Daniel, Johnny, and the guy in the gang don't want that to happen. They recruit Chosen. He comes from over Japan and comes in here. So he's in this season fully through. He's a regular in this season this time. And shenanigans ensue. Beef happens, though there are actually less fights than any of the other seasons. At least in my opinion, there are less fights than any of the other seasons. Also, the other few seasons kind of concluded in a tournament of sort. In the tournament, like a couple of them, about 3 of them concluded in the tournament. There isn't really a tournament here. There's talks of a tournament, but it never actually happens. At least we don't see it yet. And relationships. Miguel goes off to Mexico to find his dad, and he finds his dad, and that's not who he thinks it is, and he is not who he thinks he is. There's, like I said, anything else is probably going to be more spoilery territory. But I will tell you this, I do think this may be, and maybe it's because it's finally starting to dawn on me, is there's not a lot of legs on this show anymore. Like, I feel like this show should end. I do. By the time this season wraps up, in your brain, you're like, there is absolutely no reason for there to be another season. No reason whatsoever. There's no reason. Like, there's not even any setup. And if they did have another season, why would it even be called Cobra Kai? Spoilers, you know, if you're wondering why I'm saying that. And also, you know what? I just got to talk about this thing, because the ending kind of fucked me up, because I'm watching the show and I'm going along with it. In my brain, I kind of did start to feel like, yo, this is stretching it out, man. There is absolutely no reason for this. Like, I'm like, okay, I like this stuff. I like these characters. I like their arcs. But I'm like, where is this going? There really isn't an end point. And you would have thought the end point would have been this right here. But now it's like, okay. Spoiler alert for the ending of Cobra Kai Season 5. If you don't want to hear it, please go away. But in the end of the show, a whole bunch of things have happened. You know, this, like, Silver tries to get Cobra Kai into this, like, international karate tournament. Apparently they're just, like, this international karate tournament that's, like, a worldwide thing. But it's basically supposed to be, like, the Super Bowl for karate tournaments. Like, the biggest karate tournament in the world. But nobody knows about it. And like he was saying, like, Silver kind of pitched it to the people who run that tournament. Like, yo, nobody knows about your tournament. Nobody knows, like, how cool it is. I want to put my money, because Silver's fucking filthy rich, dude. The dude's so rich, they could drop 30 grand on a fucking bonsai tree like he's just shopping at a fucking candy store. That's how rich this dude is, you know? So he wants to help. He wants to improve it. He wants to make this tournament prestigious, and he wants Cobra Kai to be the head of it. That's why I said he wants karate to be a bigger deal, and he wants Cobra Kai to make karate a bigger deal. That will be his legacy, because, you know, it seems like he's kind of reflecting on his life in the show. They don't really spend too much time on it. He's mostly still kind of a mustache-twirling villain, but there is hints that, like, he feels his age and he feels his mortality, and he's kind of thinking to himself, I need to leave something behind. Which is ironic, because the two characters, Silver and Kreese, both are desperate to leave something behind that will last long after they're dead. And in trying to do that, they are kind of ruining those people. But I digress. A lot of stuff happens in the show that I won't get into, but I will just talk about the finale, which is at a certain point, Johnny, Chosen, and you know, the girls, they're going out for drinks. They're celebrating because, spoiler alert, Johnny and Miguel's mother are having a child, so they go out to celebrate. They've kind of set up this arc where you think this is where the show's going, really. Where they set up this arc of they're both going to be in this tournament. Like the tournament board comes down and they review both dojos, and both dojos qualify to be in this tournament. So you're thinking, in my mind, the way I'm thinking this show's going to go down is, oh, let me guess, it's going to happen. It's going to get to the end, and you know. The end is going to be them training, and it's going to end, and the next season is going to be all about the tournament. No, that's not what happens. Johnny and Chosen and Matt Barnes, some other guy from another cameo from a guy from another movie, shows up. They get drunk. They decide we're going to go to fucking Silver's house and beat the shit out of him. So they trespass on his house, blow through his door, like blow his gate off, like with the car, go into his house and attempt to assault him. Now it doesn't work out that way because fucking Silver isn't an idiot and he has like a gang of dudes in there. He has all the other senseis he recently hired in there, so it doesn't go down like that. But they try to assault him, and in my brain I'm thinking like, dude, but. All they have is evidence that he paid off a ref. Okay. And Stingray recants his testimony and says that, no, Silver's the one who assaulted me. Okay, I get that. I get that Silver's going to be in trouble for that. I get that he has to be in trouble and he has to deal with some jail time. But what doesn't make sense to me is how at the end of this show, Daniel beats up Silver, he wins, all the members of Cobra Kai throw in their jerseys, throw in their equipment, because now we don't believe in Cobra Kai, and we don't believe in you either, Silver, and this is the end, and Silver's in handcuffs, and everyone's celebrating, and everyone's like, yay! And in my brain, I'm like, hold the fuck up! You just broke into a man's house, assaulted him, assaulted his guest, then broke into his dojo, illegally got on his laptop, on his private laptop, to illegally download files, then beat the shit out of him in his dojo, and he's the one walking away in handcuffs? What the fuck kind of world is this? Worst case scenario, everyone's going to jail. Daniel, the kids, everyone's going to jail. Like, everybody. Do you know how, like, I don't care if Stingray's recanting his testimony. Do you know how long it wouldn't happen like that. Because he already did it. They would have to talk to him, and then they'd have to talk to Homeboy's lawyer. It would be a whole process. But the idea that they got to fucking do all of that and got to walk away, and it's just like, what? And then on top of that, with the Cobra Kai, head of Cobra Kai, with every single one of the main characters is not with Cobra Kai. Every single one of them has recounted Cobra Kai. They've renounced Cobra Kai. No one wants to be in Cobra Kai. So what the fuck is the show about now? Because Cobra Kai doesn't exist. And sure, they set up something with fucking Kreese breaking out of prison. But who gives a fuck? Because he can't do anything legally. He broke out of prison. So where is this show going? Why isn't this show just over? And the ending frustrated me to know, like, I was just like, this makes absolutely no sense. I'm sorry. I can put logic at the door for so long. But logically, Daniel, Johnny, Chosen, all of them should be in jail. All of them. Logically, everyone should be in jail. But somehow, it's just him. And in my brain, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. The ending to this season was, in my opinion, terrible. It was terrible. It didn't make any fucking logical sense. I would have to turn my brain all the way down for it to make any sense. I don't know why this show isn't just ending right here. If this has another season coming, I don't know why. There's nothing else to do. Everything's wrapped up. Everyone's kumbaya. Everyone's kissy face. Everything's over. The only fucking loose end is Kreese. Who gives a fuck about him? Because there's only so much he can do since he broke out of prison. I'm kind of over the show now. I give this the final season a 7 out of 10. Well, season 5 of Cobra Kai, a 7 out of 10. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.